Hi, my name is Martin. Thank you very much for watching this review. Today I'm going to be looking at something from Itsuwa, the Chinese company that are producing some really good, well-made and top-class electronic cigarette and vaping accessories. I've already looked at their battery, the Amigo battery, but in this review I'm going to be looking at the tank on top. Now this is the Itsuwa 1981 TS tank, and it's got some really unique and innovative designs to it. And I think in today's expanding vaping market, where there's lots of different tanks coming out, there seems to be something new every week. A company that can produce something different and something that's going to give you a better vaping experience are onto a winner. But it also has to be very well made as well, and I think this is where Itsuwa have triumphed, because they've come up with an innovative idea, but they've also put it together and made it very well indeed. That's what we're going to be looking at in this review. I'll give you an overview of some of the things that are special about this tank. It's got two chambers for your e-liquid, so the bulk of your e-liquid is kept apart from the chamber where the coil is, so if there was ever a problem with the coil, the bulk of your e-liquid won't become contaminated. It's got adjustable airflow, 4 different types of adjustable airflow, and it has a very clever spring drip tip. I can press down on that, and that's actually, you can see the bubbles coming up in the tank. That's actually forcing liquid down onto my coil to give me a consistent and good vape. Now inside there is a 1.6 ohm coil. It's Itsuwa's own coil. Replacements obviously are available. You get a spare one in the pack, but it just vapes really well. It's made of 303 stainless steel. It's all put together very well. It's got a Pyrex tank in there, and just such a clever idea. The fact that it's almost like it's like a dripping atomizer idea. Basically what you're doing is you're vaping the liquid that's in and around the coil and the wicking, and then when you feel like you need to top that up, all you have to do is press that spring drip tip 5 times for a second maybe, and you are ready to go again. Works really well and vapes great. Gives me a consistent vape and consistent flavour. That's the important thing. I'm not looking to blow huge great clouds of vapour here. This is all about a good vaping experience, a good flavour and a satisfying experience, and not getting dry hits and getting frustrated with your tank, and that's what Itsuwa have achieved here. Really nice flavour and nice vapour. I tell you what we'll do, we'll go and have a look at this in close-up, and then we can come back and give it some final thoughts. I'll show you all around what you get in the box and how this works. Before we have a close-up look at this, we'll go actually to Itsuwa's factory in China and have a little quick tour, and then when we come back we can look at the close-up of the Itsuwa SIG 1981 TS tank. So let's wing our way over to China right now. Okay, let's take a closer look at what we get with the Itsuwa 1981 TS. Now, the box it comes in is really good. Perfectly translated English, gives you all the information you need, tells you about the spring drip tip, tells you about your independent tank, dual chamber, everything that you need to know about this tank is on the box and also on the back. How to fill it, how to look after it, dimensions, air holes, everything is there. The quick start guide is on the box. I really like that. Now also inside we have this, which is again full information on how to look after and use your tank. Everything you need to know, again translated very well indeed. A revolutionary dual tank system that allows e-liquid to stay fresh by staying in the upper chamber while the lower chamber gets used by the atomizer. So some good information in there. Then when we open the box, this is what we've got inside. I apologise if there's a bit of condensation in my tank. I've just washed it out to show you this close up. But we're getting the tank itself. I will take that out right now. So we'll put the tank to one side for just a second, if it stays there, to let you know that we have also in here a replacement 1.6 ohm coil, an Ego beauty ring, and this is just some cotton for cleaning. It's not wicking material or anything like that. It's a piece of cotton for cleaning. I can also tell you that Itsuwa do the replacement coils. They're in packs of 5 dual coil replacements in 0.8, 1.2 and 1.6. I had some 1.6 ohm coils. Let's take a closer look at the tank itself though. That's what is the important thing here. Now to start with, this is made in 303 stainless steel, and a reminder that it is 87mm high, so it's quite a long tank, but that's because you've got this dual chamber system going on here and then your coil at the bottom. Also it is a 18.5mm diameter tank, which means it fits perfectly on Itsuwa's Amigo battery, which I'll show you in just a little while. So there's the information you need on the bottom there. 18.5mm diameter. It has a convex style drip tip, which I really like. It's really nice to use, but of course also this is sprung loaded. This isn't a removable drip tip, it's sprung loaded, and we'll explain how that works in this close-up. We then have some engraving around the top here. We have our 303 stainless tank there, and we have Pyrex glass. Then we have the second part of our dual tank with the 1981 TS engraving on it and the Itsuwa SIG logo. And then at the bottom here we have our airflow control, and we will zoom in a little bit on this and show you the airflow control. What you have is 4 different holes, I should say, and instead of just having a dot letting you guess, they actually show you. That says 1.2 on there as we go around, 2.1, and this does move really smoothly and click into place as well. So 2.1 there. We start with a there's 1.8 there. We have a 1.5, and then finally a 1.2. So that's the airflow control on the tank, which works really well. Okay, now before I take it apart, if we just take a look inside here, this is where your e-liquid is stored. But, and we'll try and zoom in and show you this again. Apologies for the moisture inside, but as I say, I just cleared this out, and we'll try and keep the light on there. And then if I press down the drip tip, which I'm about to do there, you will see that this sort of trap door opens, and that's what lets your e-liquid into the bottom chamber. So while the drip tip is up, your e-liquid is trapped in the top chamber here. Opening that trapdoor opens up some holes, which allows your e-liquid down into your atomizer, and of course with the vacuum and the pressure, this is forcing liquid into your coil, which is what's going to give you that consistent vape, no more dry hits. So that's very clever and incredibly innovative, I think, and something that it's almost replicating a dripping atomizer. You're vaping and vaping, and then you need to top up, and you're doing that by allowing more liquid into the base. Very clever idea indeed. Okay, let's take it apart. This is a top filling tank, so the top comes off, and there's our spring-loaded drip tip, and we'll be filling the tank from the top, which is brilliant. And then the base comes off, and in the base, we'll just put the main tank to one side. In the base, we have the Itsuwa coil, which just screws out and is replaceable. So that just comes out like that. Dual coil, remember, this is a 1.6 ohm, and if I just zoom in on that, you'll see that it has ample air holes, 4 of them around the outside. So ample air holes to get your liquid into the coil. Remember, you're helping by forcing the liquid into the coil as well with this clever system. And that just simply screws back into the base, as with all of these style of coils. And then finally, oh, one other thing to point out, it has a sprung loaded 510 connection, which is brilliant. What that means is that, let's get a screwdriver in, what that means is that this will connect with just about anything you put it on, because that is sprung loaded. So no more pin pulling or messing around or not getting a connection. That is spring loaded and works really, really well. So there's that to show you as well. Then we'll just take a look at the main tank. Now this is really well built with a solid, let's move that out of the way, a solid Pyrex glass tank in there. And then this is the second part of the chamber. If you look up through there, you can see that that's all closed off to the top tank, and there is the seal. And then we've got the second part of the tank, and then obviously you've got your airflow through the centre there. Beautifully well made, and I have to say that the threads on this are phenomenal. It just goes together really, really well. We'll do that in close up. Beautifully threaded, and you can feel that there's a good solid seal there as well. Sometimes you tend to just adjust the airflow when you're tightening it up by accident, but that's no big deal. I'm going to set it to 2.1, the largest airflow there. Okay. So we are ready to vape. Just tighten everything down and zoom back out, and we're almost ready to vape, I should say, because of course we've got to put some e-liquid in there. Now, being a top filler, nice and simple, I'm going to put my e-liquid down down the side there, and make sure that none goes into the centre chamber. So I've got some of my favourite e-liquid here. I'm going to use a normal nozzle, just so that you can see that it works fine with a normal nozzle, and all I'm going to do is just squeeze, and you can see that going into the tank, and you can see it stopping at the top chamber like that. Now, capacity wise, I'm not 100% sure on the capacity, but I'm going to say probably 2.5 to 3 millilitres capacity, which is fine because it's a top filler. So I don't have to worry about faffing around taking it off my battery. I can easily top it up when I'm on the go. Now I'm going to prime this up, and I'm going to prime this up by pressing down the tank, the drip tip, and allowing e-liquid into the coil at the bottom. That's once, there's a little bubble. That's twice. Third time. I'll do it fourth time. And I'll do it once more. Fifth time. Now that should prime my coil up really, really nicely and give me lots and lots and lots of vape time. What I will do is I've put this onto the Itsuwa's Amigo battery, by the way, which looks really, really nice. But what we'll do is we will give you one final look around the tank, and we'll go back up to the wider shot, and we will give this a vape. But that in close-up is the fantastically well made, and that's important, not just the innovation of this dual tank system, but also the fact that this is incredibly well made as well. And yeah, there's a closer look at the 1981 TS tank from Itsuwa. Right, so there we go. That is the 1981 TS tank by Itsuwa. Hopefully you've seen in the close-ups just how pretty clever this tank is, and how for many people it's going to give them a definitive vaping experience and something that they're really going to enjoy. Now, I've been vaping for quite some time, and I've experienced rebuildable atomizers, dripping atomizers, and more recently some of these devices that are designed to give big clouds basically. But I tell you something, if when I'd started vaping something like this had been available, I'd have been on it straight away, because the flavour from this is fantastic, and it's giving me that experience that when I first started vaping, those sort of ego style tanks and things like that didn't. They were disappointing. With this, I've got the ability to get a consistent vape, and that's the key point here, the fact that I've got two chambers, if you like, one that contains the replaceable coil and one that contains my e-liquid. Also, it's a top filler, which means that I can just undo the top and fill it whenever I need to without any leaking problems or worrying about having to take everything apart. So that works really well as well. At the end of the day, getting a decent vape is what you're looking for, and the 1981 TS tank, in my opinion, stands head and shoulders over a number of other tanks of this design, simply because of that innovative creation that they've got in there that gives you the dual tanks and the way of reloading your coil with e-liquid as and when you need it, which means if you're using a slightly thicker e-liquid, you can force more liquid down in there to give you the consistent vape that you're looking for. So that's it. That's my take on the Itsuwa 1981 TS tank. I hope you've enjoyed the review, and thank you very much for watching.